What's going on, guys? This is week 3 of the 6-week video reintroduction series that I'm doing. So I'm just coming on for 10-20 minutes every week and talking a little bit about a different topic that I work with clients on. Week 1 was grief and healing. Week 2 was self-esteem and self-worth. Week 3, this week, is dating. Week 4, next week, is self-sabotage. Week 5 is abuse and toxic relationships. And week 6 is purpose, motivation, and goal setting. Let me talk briefly about a couple things before we get into the dating. So first off, I've only done like 6 or 7 videos on this page so far because it's highly uncomfortable for me and I'm still getting used to being on camera. But last week's video, self-esteem and self-worth, was the least watched video I've done so far. And that pained me. And the reason it pained me is because society truly doesn't understand how unbelievably, vitally important self-esteem and self-worth are, right? They just don't. If you're gonna watch this video on dating, if you're gonna watch next week's video on self-sabotage, take the 22 minutes and watch the video on self-esteem and self-worth, because all of these things go hand in hand, okay? Item number 2 I will talk about before we get to the dating part. When I first started coaching, I got attacked. Not by a ton of people, but it doesn't take a ton of people attacking you to make an impact, right? It's something that I still struggle with. Oh my God, you charge people to talk to you? No. I charge people to coach them on grief and healing, and self-esteem and self-worth, and dating, and self-sabotage, and abuse and toxic relationships, and purpose and motivation and goal setting, and the 42 other things that I coach people on, right? I talk about empowerment all the time. Sometimes I need to take my own advice. Sometimes I don't lean into what I do as much as I should. My wife used to call me an idiot. It was a term of endearment, and I miss it. But there was some truth behind it. I'm not that bright. If I told some of y'all the things that I don't know, you'd be like, what? But you know what I can do? I can write, and I can coach. So, I'm not gonna run from what I do anymore. If you need a dating coach, if you need a relationship coach, I think I'm the best one out there. I think you should go to my website. I think you should sign up. Okay. As I was preparing for this video, I'm thinking to myself, sorry guys, battling a cold or an upcoming man flu, which is not going to be fun. As I'm preparing for this video, I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to talk about dating for 15 or 20 minutes? What I decided to do was start with an example and then just list a few topics that I work with clients on, okay? So let me start with this example. Those of you who know my story know that Michelle and I dated for a year in high school, and she broke my heart. Sorry, but you did. She's gonna haunt me for that one. She shattered it to pieces. 8 years later, we got back together. 2.5 years after we got back together, she got diagnosed with one of the most rare and aggressive cancers known to man. 4 days after her diagnosis, we rushed to the courthouse to get married because her surgery was scheduled in 5 days. And we wanted to be man and wife for a variety of different reasons before her surgery. One reason being that we didn't know if she would make it out alive, right? She was brutally sick at that courthouse wedding. She couldn't stop. Did y'all hear my stomach growling? That's embarrassing. You know how like you have a business meeting and your stomach growls? Mine just growled on a Facebook video. Okay. I told y'all I'm getting sick. Might sneeze here at y'all too. See my phlegm coming through. Okay, back on topic. She was brutally sick. She was throwing up nonstop. Couldn't stop going back and forth to the bathroom, running back and forth to the bathroom. She was in unbelievable pain. I'm sitting there trying to help her. My heart is breaking for her, being that sick. My heart is also breaking because I'm thinking I'm going to lose her again, right? For the second time in my life. So as I'm watching all the happy couples get married, this is our reality. So we do the vows. We head to the emergency room right after the wedding. Nurses find out that we just got married. They bring us wedding cake. Michelle can't eat it. She's too sick. I wasn't exactly in the wedding cake mood. It was a beautiful gesture though. 5 days later, she has her first surgery. Eventually, the cancer comes roaring back, right? It's everywhere. It's terminal. Okay. We started, at that moment, we said, let's plan a real wedding. So we planned a real wedding. Got a hotel in downtown Chicago. 50 to 60 people on the guest list. Small, beautiful, intimate wedding. Motown music. She was going to walk down to At Last by Etta James. She got her dream dress. She picked out my gray suit and my purple bow tie. She's going to make me wear a bow tie. I don't care. She died 2 weeks before the wedding. Here's my point. Here's what I want to start with this dating conversation. What if I fall in love again? What if I get married? What if I have a real wedding? I'll be in love, obviously, right? I'm gonna watch this new woman that I'm in love with walk down the aisle. I've been wanting to see Michelle walk down the aisle since I was 17. Never got the chance. You think it's gonna be a happy day? Hell yeah, it's gonna be a happy day. You think there's gonna be sadness there too? Hell yeah, there's gonna be sadness there too. We can be happy and sad at the same time. In all aspects of life, in all aspects of grief and healing. And when it comes to opening our heart up again, right? When we open our heart up again, it can, doesn't always, but it can bring with it a tremendous amount of guilt and fear and confusion. How do I still and always love my deceased spouse, but now have feelings for this new person? This is all stuff that I work with clients on. The happy and the sad. Navigating that, understanding that, working through that. The guilt, the fear, the confusion, right? Another thing I'll work with clients on is judgment. 95% of the widowed people I have met have been judged, either for their grieving, for their healing, for dating again, for not wanting to date again. Those who want to judge are going to judge, right? If you've never read Sit Down and Shut Up, please go to my website, pull up the blog section, read it. You can read it for free. If you like it, buy my books. It's in book 1 and book 2. It was so popular I had to put it in book 2 as well. Let's talk about a couple other things. Well, let me just stay on the judgment for a second. I'm sorry. I've said this in previous videos, but in case you missed those or needed a reminder, after the hell we have walked through, you deserve to pursue happiness and whatever that means for you. So you need to grieve your own way, regardless of what anyone else says. You need to find healing your own way, regardless of what anyone else says. And you need to live your life your own way, regardless of what anyone else says. Whether you want to date 3 months after your spouse passes, 3 years after your spouse passes, whether you never want to date ever again. I don't care. My job, if I'm your coach, is to help you get to a place where there's happiness again, where there's some peacefulness again. I want to see you happy and healthy and peaceful. I don't care if that includes dating or not, okay? Let's talk about a couple other things that I work with clients on. I hear clients all the time tell me, but I don't know how to date, John. Like, I met my spouse when I was 18. I don't know how to date. Okay, let's walk through it. Let's do it. The other thing I hear clients talk about all the time is, I'm awkward. Who's going to want to date me? John, I'm so awkward. You know what I miss most about Michelle? Other than absolutely everything. Her bumping into walls. Us being complete dorks together. Yeah. I loved her awkwardness, her dorkiness, her uniqueness. That's what made me truly fall in love. And she loved mine just the same. The right person is going to adore you for you, your weird ass self. Okay? One of the other things that I talk with clients about is children. Whether you have a 2-month-old, a 2-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 32-year-old who's having a hard time with it, right? I always get asked by clients, how do I handle this? How do I navigate this with my children? That's something else we'll talk about, okay? We will talk about, let me take a look, the first heartbreak. I always have clients call me and they feel foolish. They don't understand why their heart hurts so much after their first heartbreak, post-loss. I was only talking to him for 2 weeks. We only dated for 2 months. Yeah, we were together for a year, but I was with my husband for 30 years. Why does it hurt so bad? There are actual reasons why. There are actual reasons why. So one of the things I do is I help clients understand that. And once we understand it, then you can find some healing. Then we can go from there, right? One of the other things I talk with clients on is, when do I start dating? When? That's a common question. Every answer is unique. So, we'll look into that. Do I take pictures down? Do I tell them I'm a widowed person? How much do I talk about my spouse? We'll talk about that as well, right? I work with clients on how we can open more doors, how we can meet people, how we can stop letting our insecurities get the best of us, how we can let people know that we're available or maybe even interested, right? That's another thing that I work with clients on. I work with clients on their self-esteem and their self-worth because it's huge. When it comes to dating, it's absolutely huge. I work with them on self-sabotage because some of y'all really love to sabotage yourself in all aspects of life, but especially when it comes to relationships. I work with clients, I shouldn't say especially, but especially female clients. And I say especially because all my life, I've seen females who I care about, family members, friends, pick the wrong men. Y'all pick the wrong men. Why? Well, that's something we work on. We work on figuring out why. We work on figuring out how to stop that behavior. Because the person you choose to be with is one of the absolute most important decisions you will make, right? So that's another thing that we work on. I work with clients on, do I text? Do I message him? He hasn't messaged me. What do I do? Understanding the next step. Because while it should seem easy, while this seems like a lot of work, sometimes you need some help navigating, especially the early part of a dating situation or a relationship, right? I work with clients on this. as I said, I don't care if you want to date or not. But let me ask some questions to you. Let me see if you truly don't want to date, or if it's your guilt, or your fear, or your self-esteem, or your self-worth holding you back, right? Let's just make sure that in your heart, it's something you really don't want. I work with people on seeing that it's possible to find great love again. I don't know that it's going to happen. I'm not a psychic. But it's possible. I know so many people who had good or great or amazing marriages who find amazing love again. I know so many people who had horrible marriages who find great love, possibly for the first time. I don't know that it's going to happen, but I know that it's possible regardless of what age you are, because I have clients from the ages of 23, 24-year-old widows to, I am not joking, 73, 74-year-old widows who find love again. This is the last thing I'll say here on this video before I go sneeze and cough up a storm. That's sexy. Love is not a Facebook meme. Love is not a Facebook meme. We can stumble upon amazing people. Yeah, you can meet somebody at the coffee shop. You can meet somebody the very first day that you go online, onto that online dating site. You can rear end somebody in traffic. When they get out of the car and you get out of the car and there's chemistry everywhere, right? We can stumble upon amazing people. But beautiful relationships are not stumbled upon. They are built. Each and every one of us has an ego and insecurities and pain and sometimes trauma. Each and every one of us has walls of some kind. Some higher and harder to get through than others. But we all do. Beautiful relationships take person A wanting to work on themselves and person B wanting to work on themselves, and person A and person B wanting to work together to create that beautiful relationship. One of my absolute favorite things to do in this career is work with couples. It's when I have a female client, let's say, who's coming to me for 3, 4, 5 months, and then she all of a sudden meets some amazing man. And 6 weeks into the relationship, she says, hey, let's call him Jake. Jake wants to talk to you. Jake wants to find out how to date a widow. Jake wants to know what he can do to make this relationship better. So now I'm working with her on the relationship. And now I'm working with him on the relationship. And together, with me helping, although they can do that by themselves, they're creating a beautiful relationship. Because beautiful relationships are not stumbled upon. They are built, right? Okay. That was a little bit about dating today. I'm sorry I wasn't more energetic, or that it wasn't longer. I feel like I have a fever, so bite me. Next week is self-sabotage. If you haven't watched last week's self-esteem and self-worth, please go back and watch it, okay? I will see you all next week. I hope you got something valuable out of this video. Bye.